B'tavach, ladies and friends, welcome to another session of Nshei Chabad's 65th Spring Convention. Thank you to all the organizers, thank you to all the participants, and we're looking forward to another beautiful event tonight. There was an author who once came into the Rebbe and said, Rebbe, can you explain to me what type of a life is it that Hasidus demands from those that adhere to Hasidic principles? And the Rebbe said, I'll give you a mashal. Take bread. How do you make bread? Take flour, sugar, water, salt, eggs. But imagine you take all the ingredients, you mix them in a bowl, and then you leave it. Or you take the ingredients, you knead it, it even rises, but then you leave it. That's a bunch of ingredients. That's not bread. In order to get bread, you need to put it into a fiery, hot oven. And then all those ingredients are going to bake into bread. The Rebbe says that's the type of lifestyle the Hasidus demands. Torah mitzvahs you could do. You can mix together ingredients. You could say a tefillah. But when we create our internal environment and change ourselves and warm ourselves up into an oven, then our whole Torah mitzvahs turns into a delicious bread. And that's what Tani describes about Ava and Yira. It takes all their mitzvahs and it releases it heavenward. We're right now a few days before Motzei Shabbos. What was so unique about Motzei Shabbos? Hashem chose the Yidden before Motzei Shabbos as well. Hashem chose Avram. Hashem took the Yidden out of Mitzrayim. There's psukim that show about Hashem's deep and incredible love for the Yidden. So what was different about Har Sinai? What was different about Motzei Shabbos? What was different about Motzei Shabbos was as follows. When Hashem chose Avram, there was a reason. It was because Avram had discovered one Hashem. When Hashem chose the Yidden in Mitzrayim, it was because of a reason. Even though they fell to the 49th level of Tumah, they still clung to their beliefs. There were things that didn't change. Right? Leishinu, Eslafusha, Meslashanim, they were there, and that was the reason Hashem chose them. When it came to Motzei Shabbos, there was a new level of choosing. Afal pi shechata Yisraelhu. Hashem decided on Har Sinai, I'm choosing the Yidden not for any external reason, but because they are my Yidden. So how do we reciprocate? How do we, in turn, reciprocate the fact that Hashem chose us? We choose Hashem. Not for any reason, not because Hashem gives me what I want, what I ask, what I demand, what I expect, the kind of life that I think I should have or dream I will have, but because Hashem is Hashem. When my Yiddishkeit is based on my choice, rather than just as a checklist, rather than to fulfill society's expectations, I become that oven. I'm choosing Hashem not for any reason, not for an intellectual reason, not for a logical reason, because I choose Hashem. It's the special marriage. And then our Yiddishkeit takes on a whole new passion. We're breaking that bread. It's a real relationship. There were a number of shluchim in Canada who were getting together and they were going to present a present to the Canadian Prime Minister. And they chose a silver becher and they were going to explain to him that a becher is used to make kiddush and that anybody, especially somebody in a governor's position, can sanctify his life and his position. They were going to buy him this becher. Rabbi Grossbaum called the Rebbe and explained to the Rebbe what their plan was, that they bought him a becher and they're going to talk to him about sanctification. The Rebbe says, of what use is a silver becher to a governor? Why don't you buy him an English siddur? And that way, the Prime Minister will actually be able to use it. Will be able to daven from it. There's some universal prayers in there. And the Rebbe said, for example, Maida'ani, waking up in the morning, being grateful. Yiddishkeit is not a silver becher that we just leave on a shelf. Yiddishkeit is not just symbolism. Yiddishkeit Shavuos is about the prayer book, is about the fiery oven, is about doing things out of choice. I want to connect to Hashem. I want to be his only beloved. It's very interesting because all the other Yamim Tovim, specifically actually the two other Shalosh Regalim, have a lot of mitzvahs connected to it. Sukkah and matzah. And when it comes to Shavuos, there's minhagim, but there's no particular mitzvah. And not only that, when it comes to bringing karbanos, Shavuos Minatayra is one day. So there's another 6 additional weekdays after Shavuos where the karbanos could be brought up. So most of the Shavuosness of it is actually weekday, not Yom Tov, as opposed to Pesach and Sukkot, where it's actually fully Yom Tov. And the reason is because Shavuos is about something way above that. It's not just about a mitzvah. It's not just about a Yom Tov. It's about that essential connection that Hashem has. Hashem chose us just because he knows we're imperfect. He knows all our issues. He knows all our struggles. He knows all our challenges. He knows we're not always goody-goodies. He knows that. And yet he chose us. And that's how we reciprocate. This Hashem who loves us regardless with all of our flaws, we love this Eibishter too. Not because of any reason, because we have this relationship. And this is something that we could extend to the people around us. And that's the preparation. Shavuos is about choosing Hashem as king, choosing Hashem. But what comes first? We are now going to be Rosh Chodesh Sivan. It's very interesting because when you look at the preparation that the Yidden did from Pesach to Shavuos, they took a break one day. For 6 weeks, the Yidden were working hard on themselves, Sfir Sa'aymer, and also starting from Beis Sivan, they were preparing for Matan Torah. On Rosh Chodesh Sivan, it says Moshe didn't tell them anything. The Yidden had just reached Har Sinai. They were tired, so Moshe didn't give them any command. They started on Beis. And the Rebbe asked, they were tired? I mean, the Yidden are counting down from Matan Torah from Pesach time. They're too tired to do anything? And the Rebbe says, no. What happened on Rosh Chodesh Sivan? What does it say? Vayichan Sham Yisrael neged ha'ar. That the Yidden were ke'ish echad b'lev echad. Every other time the Yidden stopped, there was rebellion, there were arguments. When it came to Matan Torah, when it came to Har Sinai, Vayichan. And the Rebbe explained, to get to such a point of total achdus amongst Yidden, to suspend their opinions, to say, even though I think you're extreme, and even though I think I don't agree with you, and even though you're wrong, and even though you're too modern, and even none of that's going to matter. None of the external differences of Yidden are going to matter. We're ke'ish echad b'lev echad. We're equally all choosing Hashem. That takes effort. The tiredness that the Yidden felt in Rosh Chodesh Sivan wasn't a physical tiredness of traveling. It was an emotional, psychological, exhausting tiredness, because to accept other people, to have this achdus, takes work and effort. So what a beautiful Hashgacha practice that we get together in Rosh Chodesh, that we're part of this Nshei Chabad, so that we could properly prepare for Shavuos, accept each other, have this circle of friendship, and extend it to all Lubavitch, Jewish women around the world, to get together, Vayichan Sham Yisrael, as a preparation for Matan Torah. Somebody once came to the Rebbe and said to him, should I make Aliyah to fulfill the mitzvah of moving to Eretz Yisrael, getting out of Galus? The Rebbe explained to him, do you know what Galus is? When a Yid is not true to his essence, and he has an inferiority complex and decides to drop certain parts of his Yiddishkeit, that's Galus. You can have a Yid living in Israel who's in Galus. What's Geula? Geula is when we're freed from our inner constraints, when we're living true to ourselves, true to our essence, true to our neshama, true to Hashem, the Rebbe, and Torah. And that's the ultimate preparation that we women are doing for Matan Torah. We're working, we're putting in the effort to maintain the peace, maintain the Vayichan Sham Yisrael, and prepare to choose Hashem like a fiery oven that will break the bread. Tonight, we have an amazing program planned. There is a woman, a shlucha in California. She's born in Russia. She will share her story. She's a Baal Tshuva, very special woman. I had the honor of meeting her. She's an artist, and she wrote a book on Taras and Mishpacha. She's going to share some words with us. And after that, I invite all of you to not be shy and unmute yourself, because we're going to be led with a singing Farbrengen with from our Hershkowitz. And I invite you to join along. And don't forget tomorrow's schedule, 12 o'clock, there's going to be a class with Rechi Pinson, followed by Menucha Kamenson. Nshei Chabad got the best of the best. And of course, the main session at 3 o'clock, where you will be delighted with the program. So thank you all for joining tonight. And now, Mrs. Luba Perlov.
She shares with us a personal story.
Everyone, my name is Luba Perlov. I'm first of all want to say that I'm very big awe and appreciation for being able to join the Nshei Chabad convention in front of the special holiday of Shavuos. It's very special for me. A little bit about myself. I'm artist. Living in North California.
Oh, okay.
The local Chabad with outreach programs, me and my husband. I was born in former Soviet Union, and born to the Jewish secular family, both are Jewish. Both my parents already was in a Jewish, so we didn't know much about traditions, and I didn't know anything even.
But shuls are not.
Mm.
So someone.
That even that matzah belongs to specific holiday. I didn't know anything besides that I'm Jewish and I have a hard time with it in Russia. At the age of 19, I started discovering the roots, a tiny bit of Yiddishkeit that I was able to catch. And at age 20, me and my husband had a chuppah, an underground chuppah in Moscow in Chabad Marina Russia. And this was a special start for us in our tshuva. In the same year, in 1990, we made Aliyah to Israel, and there was welcomed very warmly in the Chabad community. Shaliach was taking care of us, coming to us, inviting us for Shabbos. Shalom to everyone. My name is Luba Perlov. I'm first of all want to say that I'm very big awe and appreciation for being able to join Nshei Chabad convention in front of the special holiday of Shavuot. About myself,
How come I can't hear?
For being able to join Nshei Chabad convention in front of the special holiday of Shavuos. It's very special for me. A little bit about myself. I'm artist, illustrator, coach, writer, performer, living in North California, helping to the local Chabad with outreach programs, me and my husband. I was born in former Soviet Union in the city of Odessa in Ukraine, and born to the Jewish secular family. Both my parents Jewish, but both my parents already was Tinokot Nishbu, so they didn't know much about tradition, and I didn't know anything even that matzah belongs to a specific holiday. I didn't know anything besides that I'm Jewish and I have a hard time with it in Russia. At the age of 19, I started discovering the roots, a tiny bit of Yiddishkeit that I was able to catch. And at age 20, me and my husband had a chuppah, an underground chuppah in Moscow in Chabad Marina Rosia. And this was a special start for us in our tshuva. In same year, in 1990, we made Aliyah to Israel, and there was welcomed very warmly in Chabad community. Shaliach was taking care of us, coming to us, inviting us for Shabbos, and we actually got very in contact with Chabad. I was eagerly learning, very thirsty to knowledge, starting first steps in Yiddishkeit. Whatever I was learning, I was trying to keep, and I still didn't understood in the beginning what means Rebbe and how I relate to him and why I should relate to him. And it was not before that I got in the situation that I was in despair that I made the contact with the Rebbe without still understanding what the Rebbe means. So I was pregnant and I got pneumonia. And the medication that usually prescribed to pregnant women during pregnant women for pneumonia didn't work for me, and actually I got allergic reaction for this and wasn't able to take. And then I understood that I'm in a situation that I need something out of conventional medicine, and I need a miracle because it was very scary. So in a moment of despair, I contacted my friend, my Chabad friend, and asked her to ask Rebbe the blessing for me for the health. It was before Gimel Tammuz. It was actually around 5 months before the Gimel Tammuz. And my friend sent fax to the Rebbe, to 770. And immediately that day, I started feeling better. Surprisingly, 3 days after, when I already was feeling well, without medication, I got a call from United States. That was unthinkable. Call from United States from the headquarters of Chabad, and the man that told that he is the Rebbe's secretary, Rabbi Groner, want to give me the message that Rebbe gave you. He said Rebbe gave you a blessing for refuah shlema. I was silly enough to tell, oh, thank you, but I don't need it anymore, because I really was feeling well, and little I know that connection to the Rebbe starts not from the actually what Rebbe say, but starting before when you're forming your request, just writing to Rebbe, just saying, verbalizing your task, your what you want, or sometimes just thinking about it. This way we're connecting to the Rebbe. So the Rebbe already, the blessing of the Rebbe already started working, and I said, "Oh, thank you, I don't need." Now I understand this, but this was the only one instance that I was able to contact Rebbe before Gimel Tammuz, and then happened the Gimel Tammuz. And the thing is that for me, connection to the Rebbe started and increased, especially after Gimel Tammuz, and deepened the connection to the Rebbe. And it's a very special thing because I never saw the Rebbe, and I do try to connect, and I will tell you later how we connect to Rebbe, but for now I will tell you, no, actually, no, sorry. There are ways to connect to the Rebbe. It's known ways, it's not something something new. The first thing is to live by his guidance, to do things that Rebbe requested us to do, and to learn Rebbe's Torah, whatever Rebbe was teaching, and to write to in Igrot HaKodesh, to write to the Rebbe. So I writing to Rebbe very, very often for different reasons, to ask for guidance, to give me their direction, to bless me with, or someone else with specific things we need. I will tell you another instance that I was pregnant. Again, everything about pregnancy. This is the most special moments for women. So I was, years after that, I was pregnant with my son, and it was Motzei Pesach that we came to the hospital. I had contractions. I was due, so basically I was supposed to give birth. Doctor checked me and he said that, the labor not progressing much, so I recommend you to get medication to induce the labor, and after a couple of hours baby will be in your hands and everything will be behind you, and let's do that. Or you have choice just to go home because we will not keep you this way. And I really wanted to already to see my baby. I didn't. It was in the end of the pregnancy. But another way, I thought, who is the doctor who will decide when the baby should be born? So I said to him, I need to think. I went to the lobby of the hospital, and it was in Israel, in Petah Tikva. There was a public computer there. I dialed igrot.com, and in the box I wrote my name, my mother's name, and I wrote in the box for the question, I wrote to the Rebbe what to do. To stay now and get induced, or to go home, basically. The letter opened, and I didn't saw any straight answer. There is no yes, and there is no no. The letter was very long, telling about education of the children, about chinuch, not something specific. But I need specific things now. I am in a situation that I need to decide. And then I looked on the date of the letter, and it was Kav Dalet Nisan. We were there in Motzei Yom Tov Pesach. It was Kav Bet 22nd. So I understood that for me, the Rebbe telling me that baby is supposed to be born on Kav Dalet on 24th of Nisan, and this why it was enough for me to come to the doctor and tell him that I'm going home. And I did went home, and doctor advised me to come again. And so I came again next day, and it was the same thing. He said, you can go home again. I know that you want everything finished. I said, no, I will not go because now it's evening, Kav Gimel ending, and it starts Kav Dalet. I will give birth today. I will walk around more, and I will come and you will check. And I walked around more, and when I came, I already was in labor. My birth ended up in C-section because doctors found that my baby's throat was wrapped in with umbilical cord multiple times, also around the face, and he wasn't able to get out. And the thing is that if doctors would give me the induction, I will get this medicine that inducing the labor, my baby Hasveshalom could be strained because every contraction will lower his heartbeats. So this way, the Rebbe actually saved the life of my baby. Thanks to this, and thanks to possibility of looking through Grot Kodesh and see the answer that Hashem shows you. So the main thing, how I feel I can connect to the Rebbe, is all the things that I mentioned. But the most important thing is when you're doing Mivtzoim and you overcome even yourself, you overdo yourself, you step beyond the abilities you think you have, and then you feel the Rebbe right near you. It's amazing thing. You can get there, but you need to prepare. You need to do something in Kodesh. So that's why I have another story also in Grot Kodesh, that when I my last pregnancy, that I was in dangerous, grave situation. I didn't know yet. I had some things with my pregnancy, and I thought it's gone. So I decided to write to the Rebbe, and even wouldn't ask him to keep my pregnancy. I thought it's gone. I just wanted to everything will end well. So I wrote to Rebbe a letter just asking general blessing. The answer was in the page 331, where Rebbe saying, let it be God's will that the pregnancy will be successful and that a healthy baby will be born in good and auspicious moment. My heart sank, but then I saw the list of things. This was the ending of the letter, the list of the things Rebbe advised us to do. One of the things did penetrate really straight in my heart. It says that I need to make advertise the mitzvah of Taharat HaMishpacha, and to make at least 3 women go to mikveh for the first time. And what I will do, I feel I should do it, and then a woman will go to mikveh, and then it's B'ezrat Hashem, my pregnancy will be okay. It's all about that. So actually, what happened that I cannot go out now. I'm on Shmira. I have to be home with my pregnancy complications. I was thinking, what can I do? And I came up with an idea once. I remember it was one Shabbos, to write a book on Taharat HaMishpacha, to inspirational book, to gather different stories about contemporary stories of women that went to mikveh first time, what they felt. And I felt this is what I should do, because book can do work for me. So I started to do book, and I'm a professional artist and illustrator. I never did book before. It was first time in my life, but I know how many professions involved, how many people involved in it. So if it will be normal time, I will say I cannot do it. I just can't. Also, I never started and finished project in my life before that. And also where I will find funds, how distribute book, where it will be printed, so many things. Somebody is supposed to check my grammar, somebody is supposed to make interface of the book. How it's done, I have no idea. The thing is that I got in the desperate situation that I want to survive, I want my baby to survive, and I have to act now. So I just sat and started writing book. I did had some articles that I was publishing in site online about Tarat Mishpacha in Russian. So book actually was written in Russian originally. I found Beshgacha Prati that everything was like autopilot. I found somebody that would organization in Israel called the Pirion that found for me funds and found for me stories and things that I need just to interview people and write it everything. I learned by click with one finger how to make interface of the book, and you will not believe from the day I had the idea to write a book until the day that this book was physically printed. Past 6 weeks, month and a half, I was still pregnant. It just shows how important this mitzvah is for Hashem, and the shlichus that if I can do it, I have to do it, you know. So I came to the hospital. I was in the hospital for 5 weeks. I came to the hospital with books. I gave to my nurse. I gave to one of the doctors. The hospital is not Jewish, obviously. My personal doctor was Chinese. So before the surgery, I had very, very complicated. So surgery, the doctor, the Chinese doctor, was kind of showing off. He like Napoleon, like a commander, and he said that he already planned that 32 people will be on my surgery and things like that. I said, sure, there are a lot of students. He said, no, one student, and everyone have his job. Everyone will be present and everyone knows. And he was, you know, look like a commander. And I was thinking that I want doctor also to be connected to spiritual way. I want him to be shaliach for real, not like big shot. I want him to do the good job for me, right? So I asked Rebbe how I can talk to my doctor to make him also spiritually ready for the surgery. And I got the answer. When my doctor came to me to visit me in the hospital room, I told him, I have some words to tell you from my Rebbe, the Chinese doctor. And I told him, my Rebbe said, that you have to remember, Hashem gave power to doctors, gave permission to doctors to heal people. The only thing you should remember, that you are shaliach of Hashem. You're not on your own. You're not showing yourself up. You're doing the job that Hashem gave you, and if you will be connected to Hashem while you're doing the surgery, you will succeed. And then I saw the doctor got pale. He was so excited and show off. And now he was like humbled and scared also. But it was a good part because he felt the, he felt the shlichus suddenly, understood. He have to be connected to Hashem. So basically my surgery went miraculously well. And Baruch Hashem, I have a baby. And Baruch Hashem, this book that I wrote so fast, it was a book like, now it's 150 pages, was reprinted 4 times. Not reprinted, there's 4 editions. This is a book in Russian. It was translated to Hebrew. It was translated to English. It's now present on different mivtzoim, different Chabad houses all over the world, in all the continents, populated continents. It's in Africa, it's in South America, it's in Australia, it's in Thailand. It's printed and reprinted multiple times in Russia. We're making special editions for people to different cities, writing about their mikvahs and making pictures of their mikvahs. In Moscow, Petersburg, in Odessa, in Kiev, in Almaty, in another city, I forgot its names. I don't know how many books printed. It's above 30,000. And I know that many women went to mikvah, and Baruch Hashem, it got great success. So I just telling what I learned from this, that if you have a voice and you feel your shlichus, you should step forward and do, even you don't know how you can accomplish it if you think you are not able to. This is the example, and this is the connection to the Rebbe. Back then, when I was in hospital room, and I was writing to Rebbe every day, getting straight answers from through Igrot Kodesh, I was feeling Rebbe with me. Before surgery, Rebbe said, when you will have some unpleasant, tests and procedures. Imagine your your grandfather, the righteous grandfather, in front of your eyes. What can I imagine? I cannot imagine my great grandfather and my grandfather. But Rebbe is grandfather for me. So when I had a very hard procedures, I was picturing, trying to remember Rebbe's images, Rebbe's pictures, Rebbe's videos, trying to remember in my eyes, and it helped me tremendously. So I'm very excited and happy that soon will be a special chuppah. It's a final chuppah that we have on Shavuos, right? It's a chuppah between Hashem and Jewish people. So it will be, Bezrat Hashem, the real chuppah that we're all anticipating, with the final redemption, and that we all will go out of this galus of the quarantine straight to Hashem and see our Mashiach and see Beit HaMikdash and be there and celebrate Shavuos there. I'm wishing you good luck. Thank you. B'sorot tovot.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, everyone. Good vach. It's so nice to see everyone, the faces that I see. It's beautiful. So I want to start with a story that I once heard there was a sefer that I once read about, specifically about music, because I wanted to see how does music really affect a person. So in this sefer, there was a story about a king who was a non-Jewish king. And it happened to be that he was very, very sad and very depressed. And he got a lot of people to come to him and to do different things for him. So he got a top psychologist, a top doctor, so many different things he tried. He tried herbs, he tried medicine, he tried someone to come and do a gesture for him for jokes. And to no avail, nothing was working. And he continued on that depressed state for a really long time. One day, he was walking in the street and he heard music. And that music was actually uplifting his soul. And he felt, for the first time, he felt joy. So he quickly told the people he was with, go find the source of that music and bring that source of music to me. And what happened was the people that were with the king went and they found the source. And the source was a yid singing and playing music. He was playing a niggin. And they brought him to the king. And the king said, what is this that you're playing? And he said, this is a niggin. It's a song from our special rabbis. And he said, please, come to my palace every day. I'm going to pay you. Come to my palace to play this music for me every day. And so that's exactly what this yid did.
And this was actually the cure for this king from his depression and sadness. So it shows that music has a power that regular words don't have. And we know that from a niggin that it removes the restriction and the limit of the body. So when you're singing a niggin, you're connected with your soul and your neshama. So a niggin is so, so pure. And I'm going to start the niggin with a niggin that has to do with tonight's topic. Tonight's topic is a new reality. And for a new reality, there needs to be a change, a growth, somewhere where we're going. So we're going to start with Ufaratsta. And Ufarasta we know is a niggin that goes and breaks through boundaries. So we're going to really break through boundaries now and have a whole new reality with Ufarasta. So if everyone could join along with me for Ufarasta, I'm not sure if you're able to unmute or not, but if you are, you could unmute for just while we're singing. And if you're not able to unmute, then sing along in your own homes, please. Okay. Ufaratsta, 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 yamava kema, tafaina vaneba. Ufaratsta, 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 yamava kema, tafaina vaneba. Ufaratsta, yamava kema, ufaratsta, tafaina vaneba. Ufaratsta, yamava kema. Ufaratsta, tafaina Okay, so hopefully now that we left our boundaries of gullus and we're completely united with our soul right now and so in tune with our soul, I'm going to share another story. So this story is as follows. It was the Mittler Rebbe, and the Mittler Rebbe would have shows a lot of the times with horses and nigunim, and to bring joy to the people. And there was usually set times that the Mittler Rebbe would do this. And it happened to be one time the Mittler Rebbe called together for it to happen, and it wasn't the set time, but of course the Rebbe tells you to do something, you don't question it, and you do it. So everyone's doing it, and his son was part of it, and it happens to be in the middle, his son fell off the horse, and he got very, very hurt. And they wanted to stop, everybody wanted to stop to tend to him, because they saw he was hurt, he got really hurt, he fell off. And the Mittler Rebbe said, no, please continue. So they continued for a while. And at one point, then the Mittler Rebbe said, okay, you could stop and you could go tend to him. And the Hasidim asked afterwards, he was really critically hurt, his son. And the Hasidim were very perplexed about why the Mittler Rebbe said to continue when his own son was on the floor critically hurt. And the Mittler Rebbe said that there was a gezer in Shemayim that something chas v'shalom not good was going to happen to his son. So he knew that what's the way? Simcha pirates together. Simcha breaks through boundaries completely. So he called together for the music. And when his son fell, he saw that the gezerah still was there. And it needed more and more simcha. So the Mittler Rebbe said, continue. So the Hasidim continued, and he said they could stop once that gezerah was away. And then they were able to stop. So we're going to sing the Kapella by the Mittler Rebbe, because this was a story from the Mittler Rebbe. And we could also have in mind also the joy and the connection that we have when we sing a niggin. Okay, so we're going to start Kapella.
Should I show you?
Yeah. I did it, I did it, I did it, did it, I did it, I did it,
I have to hear, otherwise I can't.
Okay, so now we're going to sing Mitzrayim because we want Hashem to take us out of this gullus, our own personal gullus and everyone else's personal gullus, which means Mashiach is here. And if we're out of Mitzrayim, if we break through this Mitzrayim, we're going to have Mashiach. And that's what we want. So we're really going to have in mind, please, 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 that we should really leave this gullus now, now, now. So we could have a koyach because an intention also has power in koyach. So if we have the intention that we're really going to leave Mitzrayim, we are not going to stay here any longer. Hashem has to take us out, and we're going to sing it with joy, and we're going to be very happy, and we're going to really have Mashiach. Amen. So everyone can have that in mind, the intention of leaving Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim ge'altanu, mi beis avadim pedisanu. Mitzrayim ge'altanu, beis avadim pedisanu. Mitzrayim, Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim ge'altanu, mi beis avadim pedisanu. Mitzrayim ge'altanu, mi beis avadim pedisanu. And we're going to be singing one last niggin. Before I do, I'm going to share a story. So there was someone a long time ago by the name of Rav Mordechai Gifter, who was a Rosh Yeshiva in Cleveland, Ohio. And he really, really liked Torah, and he enjoyed Torah, and his whole life was for Torah and for Hashem. And one day he was walking in the street, and he was thinking words of Torah very intensely. And all of a sudden he hears someone singing niggin. So his ears perk up, and he looks around to see who's singing that niggin because it sounded very pure. And after a few moments, he realized he himself was singing because the Torah thoughts permeated him to such a degree that it reached his soul, and his soul just started singing. It released itself with a niggin. So halavai, we should be on such a level where we're thinking words of Torah and we start singing and we didn't even realize we were singing because we were so immersed. So this is my own shita, but I think the opposite could be true, that when we sing a niggin, we're so connected to the niggin that niggin helps us learn more Torah and helps us connect more to Hashem. And what we are meant to do in life is really have our will be Hashem's will, because that's the real life of a Yid, is for us to be connected to Hashem in the fullest sense possible. And a niggin penetrates the soul, because a thought is a thought, and for sure a thought is very important, and a thought has a lot to do with how our body is, and our thoughts. We should have our thoughts controlling our heart. We know that from Tanya. And a niggin is almost like something that brings out the soul automatically and moves a person. Why we sway back and forth. When a person's swaying back and forth, it says that it's like a flame that's trying to go to its source. So a Yid, when they're singing a niggin or sharing words of Torah, they automatically sway back and forth because their soul is yearning to be with Hashem and be as close to Hashem as possible. So with our niggin for the night, the one that we're going to be ending off with is something that is very telling for us, because it is going to be Sheyabana Beis Hamikdash. Hashem, please build us the Beis Hamikdash and bring it down now. Sheyabana Beis Hamikdash b'meira v'yameinu. Sheyabana Beis Hamikdash
Sheyabana Beis Hamikdash
b'meira v'yameinu. So thank you, everyone. That was really beautiful, and I really enjoyed hearing the voices that I heard and seeing the people that I see. And before I go, I just want to share one quick thing that I learned in this week's Sefer Malchus, and it was saying there was a question that the fact that Harsina was given on Shabbos specifically, there's a reason for it, and the reason is that basically Shabbos is peace and tranquility, and the fact that it was given on Shabbos shows that it has the power to affect us in the mundane weekday activities as well, and that's the whole purpose of the world. So we could have that in mind this week, that the whole world and serenity and Shabbos, and that way we can really permeate our week with Shabbos and ultimately have Shabbos forever with Mashiach now. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and good vach.